Welcome to WikiAfrica Hour, where Africa's Wikimedians talk to, learn from, and discuss with each other topics they choose. Each session is curated by African Wikimedians to expand Africa's open movement. Today's host is Ceslaused.
Hello viewers, you are welcome to another wonderful episode of the WikiAfrica Hour, titled Wiki Loves Africa 2021 Meet the Winners, which is of course our 5th episode. I'm Ceslaused, your host. Wiki in Africa, the organizers of the Wiki Loves Africa photographic contest, have announced the winners of the 2021 Wiki Loves Africa photography contest themed health and wellness. Wiki in Africa activated the WikiAfrica Hour podcast in order to share current updates and highlights of Africa Wikimedian activities, interact with guests, if any, and take questions from community members, and also to promote synergy within the Wiki community by discussing topics, projects, constraints, collaborations, and opportunities. This is why we have invited the winners of the 6 prize categories of the Wiki Loves Africa 2021 International Photography Contest to this episode, during which we will learn about their photography journey in Africa, especially during the Wiki Loves Africa 2021 photo contest. We also invited 2 members of the Wiki Loves Africa 2021 International Jury to join us, during which they would give us hints on the reasons why they made their choices in terms of the photographs that took the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place. With me here is Nicky Newman, who is a member of the Wiki Loves Africa 2021 International Jury. There is also Wilfredor Rodriguez, who is also a member of the Wiki Loves Africa International Jury. There is Ewien van Bergeijk-Kwant, who won the 1st prize. And there is Dr. Nicky, who uploaded the photo that won the 2nd prize. And there is Abdusalam Khalid, who happens to be the contract photographer who took the shot of the photo that won the 2nd prize. There is Joe Amuzu, who took the 3rd prize. And there is Kevin Rack, whose photo won the traditional culture prize. And there is Bouba Kam, whose video made it to the best video prize. There is Minette Lotsie, who coordinated the photographers whose shots were selected for the special collection prize category. And there is Max, who happens to be one of the photographers whose photos made it to the prize for the special collection. We will be engaging them panel by panel, and we will start with the 2 jury members in the persons of Nicky Newman and Wilfredor Rodriguez. Please make welcome as we engage them. Hello, Nicky.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Please, the pleasure is always ours. First, in a sentence or 2, briefly introduce yourself, starting with your name.
My name is Nicky Newman. I live in South Africa. I have been a documentary filmmaker, journalist, somebody interested in reporting and archivaling stories for many years. And in the last 10 years or so, I've moved predominantly into still photography, and I lecture both photography and documentary filmmaking.
Thank you for that brief introduction. You were involved in reviewing the images submitted this year, talking about over 8,000 images and all. And then what were your thoughts on the images and what they showed about health and wellness in Africa?
Well, it was actually a beautiful task to look through all these incredible images. I mean, what a gift actually to get to see a topic in so much detail. I was really struck by the diverse interpretations of what health and wellness is. So there was quite a lot on preventative health and how we stay healthy, using herbs and clean water and sports and how we keep ourselves active, all the way through to a very kind of high-tech hospitals, equipment. So it was a very diverse interpretation of the theme, which I was amazed with. I really enjoyed seeing how inventive people are and how creative people are often when there's very little to work with. That was amazing to see how people had made contraptions to capture water or whatever was going on. So that was also really incredible. And a recurrent theme was, water and how important clean water is for all of us. And how people were navigating around the topic of clean water.
Thank you so much for those details. And what can you say about the images from Africa when it comes to the global photography stage?
Many decades ago, obviously we were limited by our access to technology, to cameras, to distribution outlets. All that has changed. The whole playing field has changed. I believe there's never been a more exciting time to be a photographer, to be an African photographer. We have all the equipment we need, and we have distribution channels that are not filtered through anybody else's lenses. So it doesn't have to come through a photographer who was sent somewhere from a whole other culture and a whole other language, a whole other way of seeing the world, really, into another place and then interpreting it through their way. I think we're seeing many more original voices, and it's not filtered through anyone else's lens. So it's exciting and raw and fantastic. I'm just seeing like really incredible images and new and young photographers interpreting the world in a new way. And it's explosive and colorful and full of energy and life. So I think it's a very exciting time to be somebody involved in photography from the African continent at the moment.
Nice. I mean, who best could tell the African story than as more than the African photographers? And going to the winning images, how do you feel about the selection of the images that won?
Yeah, that's such a tough question because there were just so many, and it's horrible to even have to try and find a winner in this place, first place, second place. Every image, that was shortlisted was strong unto itself. I really struggled having to place images. So let me just start by saying that. I obviously, all the, say, top 20, 30 images were very strong. They all hold a very strong story. They're powerful. They grab you. They tell the story clearly. They're amazing. There was one image that I really, I was sorry didn't get placed, and that was a young man holding a board talking about mental health. And it was really the only entry that spoke about mental health, which is always so invisible. How do you represent mental health in an image? And so I was really hoping that image would make it in, because it's such an important topic, especially in today's world. But of course, every single one of them is incredible unto their own right. I mean, the mom with the baby on her back while she's doing her job as a technician, it speaks volumes, really volumes. And for all of them do. first place image, the mother who is sitting at her child's bedside. Wow. I mean, you can feel it. It's got content, it's got emotion, it's a very strong and powerful image, and I love it. I love them all.
Thank you for expressing yourself about the images. And let's move over to you, Wilfredo. Hello, Wilfredo.
Hi. Yes. Well, yes, tell me.
Could you just briefly introduce yourself in a sentence or two, starting with your name?
Yes, how I told you I can use French. I don't know if any problem.
Oui, bien sûr. Soit en français, ça va.
Yes, I think it's very sorry for anybody that understand French, but I think it's very important for the French Africa parler français. Et je suis vraiment content de cette opportunité. Et une brève introduction de moi. Je suis photographe depuis 20 ans. J'ai aussi suis le photographe de l'Amérique latine qui a plus de feature pictures and commons. Et aussi, j'ai plusieurs années d'expérience dans le domaine professionnel de photographie. J'ai déjà fait plusieurs fois des jurys dans Wiki Loves Monument et aussi de plusieurs événements externes. J'étais aussi consultant de photographie pour National Geographic aussi. J'ai travaillé pour les musées britanniques et l'encyclopédie britannique aussi. Et aujourd'hui, je travaille juste comme développeur et je fais la photographie comme un hobby pour enregistrer toutes les informations qui je trouve intéressantes dans Commons et de cette façon aider à remplir, à améliorer les articles.
Ok. Merci pour l'introduction. That was Wilfredo Rodriguez introducing himself. Bon, vous étiez parmi les membres de jury pour cette année en parlant de Wiki Loves Africa 2021. Qu'est-ce qui sont votre pensée concernant les images et ce qu'ils disent concernant la santé et le bien-être en Afrique?
Oui, à mon avis, l'Afrique montre une façon différente du monde entier. L'Afrique a une ressource humaine, la vie est totalement différente par rapport à des autres continents. Et dans les premiers moments, c'était vraiment impressionnant la qualité, et pas juste photographique aussi, la façon comme l'artiste, le photographe africain est capable de montrer la réalité humaine qui se vivre chaque jour et transmettre cette connexion humaine très importante aujourd'hui. Moi, je suis latino-américain. Nous avons une relation très forte avec l'Afrique et nous sommes capables de sentir vraiment l'information, tout ce que les photographes veulent transmettre d'une façon totalement différente par rapport au monde occidental, par rapport à autre type de photographie. J'ai trouvé la partie de santé vraiment choquante, mais en même temps, c'est une fenêtre pour montrer au monde ce qui se passe là.
Merci pour la réponse. C'est bien de savoir que les images sont bien faites concernant de montrer ce qui soit peut-être la situation de la santé et bien-être en Afrique. Prochaine question, c'est pour vous, qui est peut-être un photographe mondial, si je peux dire, qu'est-ce que vous pouvez dire concernant les images de l'Afrique au niveau de la photographie mondiale?
À mon avis, l'Afrique est le continent le plus intéressant au niveau de photographiquement parlant. C'est-à-dire, c'est une ressource naturelle et aussi humaine, comme j'ai dit tout à l'heure, impressionnante. Et la façon de vivre de l'Afrique est une façon différente, pas matérialiste comme le reste du monde. C'est une façon plus humaine, plus amicale, plus chaude, et de transmettre la culture à travers des photos. Et aussi, les ressources naturelles, c'est impressionnant aussi. C'est le continent plus riche du monde à niveau des ressources naturelles. À mon avis, il y a une ressource là très importante qui doit être explorée, qui doit être améliorée et supportée par la communauté, c'est sûr.
Véridique, bon, il y a l'opportunité d'améliorer la situation photographique en Afrique, mais je suis complètement d'accord qu'il y a d'opportunités en parlant de la photographie dans le continent africain. Merci pour le réponse. Wilfredo was just trying to let us know that he feels that Africa has enormous interest and opportunities when you talk about photography, and also why we are a yard of opportunities. Of course, there's need to put in the work from time to time. And while he was introducing himself, he of course mentioned that has been a photographer for over 20 years with over 40,000 images on commons thanks to him. And most of his images are categorized under quality images and featured images categories. Thank you, Wilfredo. You have done well. Merci pour les réponses. We will be moving to the second panel. Meanwhile, during the Q&A session, if anybody has questions for Wilfredo and Nicky, they will be ready to take. Moving to the panel 2, we have the wonderful sharpshooters, the photographers themselves. There is Ewien, there is Joe, and there is Bouba, and there is Khalid. I don't know if Dr. Nima has been able to join us. There is also him who found it thoughtful to upload such a wonderful image that made it to the second place. So Ewien, will be kickstarting with you. Could you please, in a sentence or two, introduce yourself, starting with your name? Ewien, I think your mic is muted. Could you unmute your mic? Okay, it's unmuted, but we can't hear you. Probably it's a network problem. Oh, we still cannot hear you. Sorry, maybe we'll get back to you while we move to the second prize winner. Dr. Nima, Khalid. Oh, the workaholic. Hello.
Yeah, hi.
You're
Can you hear
welcome,
me?
Khalid.
Hi, thank you.
Yes,
I've been trying to enter into the studio.
Oh, sorry. Perhaps I was because we are numerous today.
Okay.
Khalid, I don't know. In the absence of Dr. Nima, I guess we'll be ladening you with more questions. Or is he around?
Okay, I hope to be able to answer them. Well, I can.
Oh, of
you should be the
course.
one to tell.
Oh, yeah, you're very capable. So, in a sentence or two, could you please introduce yourself, starting with your name?
Yeah, that's the simplest one. My name is Khalid Ozavogu Abdu, and yeah, I'm a photographer and filmmaker from Abuja, Nigeria.
Okay, thank you for that very short introduction. Moving to the second question for you. The photo you actually took, this photo won second prize. Can you give us some context as to how this picture was shot?
Sorry, come again. The line was breaking for a little bit.
Oh, can you hear me clearly now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, your shot made it to the second prize. Can you give us a brief context about how the photo was shot?
Okay. So anyway, first of all, I would like to say I feel super grateful and honored because, as I can imagine, there were so many great entries. So it was really exciting for me to hear that the photo emerged as second winner. So yeah, as you already know, I was shooting an assignment for eHealth Africa, and there was supposed to be this microscopy training, you know. So yeah, I was within the facility where the training was going on. There were loads and loads of things happening. But then I noticed the woman who was carrying a baby. I'd noticed that right from when she entered into the premises, and I knew that it was going to be a fantastic shot. But of course, I didn't want to have to. Of course, I wanted to take the photograph at a moment where she was engaged with what she was doing. I didn't want her to know. I didn't want her to be aware that I was taking a photograph, because that could somehow sort of make the photograph come off as a little on what would I say, uncandid. I wanted a really candid shot of her. And I was lucky. I took several shots actually. I stood just at the corner waiting for the right moment, waiting for the composition to be right as well. And I think the baby on her mother's back, sleeping peacefully while her mother is actually undergoing a training, which translates to walk. Literally, her mother was walking, and we can see that relationship between the mother and the child. And I think it was really interesting. And I think this was really the photograph, or this was really the most standalone moment for me, I would say. So it was very, very obvious that I needed to create a photograph, and I was glad I was able to do that. And of course the photos marked second prize, so I think that meant something for me.
Nice to know you prefer Nicky photographs because they candidly represent what you want to show. Because I can agree, if maybe she was aware, she could possibly feel shy, and you won't get that awesome shots you were looking for. Moving to the second question, I mean, this skill shot you took won the prize. How does it feel knowing your shot won the second prize?
It's very exciting for me, to be honest. In all transparency, I just took the photograph. I was on assignment, so I really don't even have the right to the photograph, so I could not have entered the photograph into any competition. So it was quite a surprise for me when I got an email talking about this. So but yeah, seeing the photograph one, it was really great. I felt like what I saw, when I was trying to make the photograph, I realized that it resonated with the guys at Wiki. I mean, not only the guys at Wiki at this point. I mean, it means that people can actually see, my thoughts into, taking the photograph. So it felt great that, amongst perhaps other, great entries, that the photographs emerged, as second. So yeah, that was quite, exciting for me.
Awesome. I can agree, knowing that, it was selected from over 8,000 entries.
Yeah, you can imagine 8,000. That's a lot of.
That's a lot of shots.
Yeah, that's a lot actually.
Thank you so much for that answer. And then, how did you venture into photography? What inspired you to become a photographer?
Okay, so I'm a travel and documentary photographer. So I usually tell people that I think I'm a traveler first, before I am a photographer. Like from a very young age, I've always been fascinated by the idea of travel. The simple fact that I could leave my home or my locality and go somewhere totally new and be met with, new cultures, lifestyle, and everything. It's something that has always been a fascination for me. So I knew the moment, I got older, it was something I was definitely going to do. So yeah, I got into photography because I was traveling, to experience my world, to connect with cultures. And I needed photography, to be able to document my experiences, to be able to bring people into my world and, to have people see what I'm experiencing. So that was really what informed my photography. And also on that fact, photography can, shape narratives, change ideas and everything. So photography is just a really great tool to be able to do all of those. And in a country like Nigeria or Africa, in the larger context, I think we have a lot of work to do with, telling our own unique stories. That is what I like to call it, unique stories. So while I'm traveling, photography is just a way for me to, experience my world and help me make meaningful connections with people, preserve great memories, and more than anything, also, tell, unique stories that probably people, don't know about. And yeah, so really, photography informed, travel informed my photography, and it goes together.
Yeah, they go hand in hand. I can agree. And thanks for making that solid point that we need to use photography in Africa to change the narratives and tell unique stories. I mean, this reiterates that the organizers of Wiki Loves Africa are right on track, because every year they fine-tune a new team and get people to contribute. So thanks for patting them on the back and letting them know they are doing an awesome job. Thank you so much. And the last question for you, Khalid, is travel, photography, documentary. What are the challenges of doing this professionally as a photographer from Africa?
Sorry, come again. The line was breaking for a little bit.
You are into travel photography, documentary, and all those.
Yeah.
What are the challenges of doing this professionally as a photographer from Africa?
Okay. So I think for me, I'll talk from my own, perspective and context. And like you said, travel and documentary photography, basically. So I think the main challenge here for me, or the way I see it, is that, documentary photography, it can quickly become a job. I mean, I understand that it's okay for it to be a job, but, this is something you really get into at the point in your life, maybe when you are really, excited, to follow, your passion, tell stories, do something, great, something you're happy about, something you're happy to share. And this is something, that you can do with the whole idea of, what, I can do this without, the idea of making money or anything. I just want to do this because I'm passionate about this. And, I want other people to see, what I'm doing and, to bring them into my world, or rather to, show them something. So, but other than that, it can quickly become a job. And I think that is one of the biggest, challenges here. And of course, taking it into the African context again, I mean, people need to earn a living, people need to make money, and quickly this can quickly, water down on the quality of work that you do. I mean, if you're a documentary photographer and if you're a journalist, we all know the importance of, the truth in your work. Because if you don't have the truth in your work, then, it can quickly become, your work can, quickly lack originality and authenticity. And that can really have an adverse effect on the story you're trying to tell in the long run. So I think the main challenge I see here with photography in Africa is that, it can quickly become a job. But again, I mentioned the situation where there needs to be a balance, because, like I said, people need to make money and all of that. But whilst we are still trying to make money, we must, always, remember why we started and the reason why we started. I mean, we didn't really go into this because we wanted to make money. But the African context, or the social economic situation in Africa, usually drives people to put money first. And when this is the case, this can obviously affect the quality of work that you do, or the truth in your work and the authenticity of your work. So yes, I think that is, for me, the main challenge, in Africa for a documentary photographer.
Thank you so much, Khalid. I mean, you're spilling true words, and I'm already thinking maybe we should get a session for you to discuss documentary photography.
Yeah, sure, we can totally do that. In all honesty, I didn't really plan for this, so I noticed I was mumbling my words. I'm sorry about that. I just got back from work.
Please,
but
if mumbling your words brings out all the points you're making, please mumble. Thank you so much for that answer. And we will maybe hope that some people will have questions for you by the end of the section during the Q&A. Thank you.
All right, sure. Looking forward to that.
Okay, Evin, I don't know if Evin's mic works better now.
Hopefully it works now.
Thank you, it works. I can hear you loud and clear. And it's good to have you back, because I would have loved to have the first prize winner first. So, Evin, we had the question where you please should introduce yourself briefly, starting with your name.
Good afternoon, everyone. Greetings from Spain. My name is Ewien van Bergeijk-Kwant. I live in West Africa since 2004 as a missionary, in fact. But my passion is with filmmaking and documentary photography. So yeah, I've lived more in Africa than in Holland in the last decade. So I really love Africa.
Thank you for that introduction. And Africa loves you too, I can assure you. So, how come from
thank you.
a missionary to a photographer? How did this happen? How did you become a photographer?
I really like to capture hope and beauty in everyday life, and it shows, in my personal opinion, the Creator's hand. So for me, it actually goes hand in hand. I want to show a different image of Africa than most of the Europeans know. So I'm looking for particular images that really show the diversity and the hope and beauty and the resilience and persistence that Africans show every day.
Thank you.
Are you still there? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you so much.
Okay, good. I wasn't sure.
Oh, we could hear you. If you would like to continue, please go ahead.
Okay. I think I always had a love for stories and images visually. And like the second prize winner said, traveling has been a big passion for me too. And exploring cultures and different cultures than my own, because I guess you always take your own culture into the culture where you go to. But I really love to get to know the people, to come close, to explore different topics. And I think, like has been said earlier, Africa is really a diverse continent with lots of different cultures and colorful, very captivating.
Thank you so much for that answer. Moving forward to the next questions for you. We have discovered that 3 of your entries made it into the highly recommended space of the Wiki Loves Africa, and then 1 made it into the highly recommended for last year. How did you get to possess the level of photography skills you exhibited in the image that won the first prize?
That to me is such a hard question to answer, because I think a lot has to do with the talents that has been given to you, but also the surroundings where you. Oh, doesn't work.
Okay. Yes, please continue.
Okay. Like I was saying, it's a hard question to answer shortly, but I think overall it's really to be present and to stay focused, but also observe carefully. To come in, and I used to come in and directly take my camera, but now I'm taking a step back just to observe the situation carefully, to get to know the situation better and the people, to really show compassion and dignity. And I used to maybe go more aggressively, but right now I found a way where in order to capture the hope and beauty of the whole situation, it's good to know the situation better, to be kind, to not come in aggressively, to stick around, to observe, to be present. Like the winning photo, I was walking through the hospital that we work in, also to help technically. And I was playing with the kids, and I just peek around the door and see if somebody's in there to chat. but I always bring my camera. I stuck my head around the corner of this door, and I saw this lady just sitting there so dignantly. Yeah, I just couldn't take my eyes off her. So I went back in and kind of just as like, is it okay that I take your photograph? And that's how this whole story came along. So yeah, there's a lot to say, but in the end, I think treat others like you want to be treated yourself. I would never take a picture that doesn't show the dignity of the respect that I really want to portray.
Thank you. Thank you so much. The idea of understanding one's culture or a particular people before maybe bringing out the camera, that actually resonates, especially when you're in somewhere like Africa. You know, it helps you connect in advance before you get to shoot.
Yes.
And then, what impact did you intend to achieve while you were taking that particular photo that won the first prize?
I think I was just struck by the emotion, and oftentimes we go back to Holland to prepare our work, and it's an image tells so much more than stories. So I want to communicate the differences, but also the strength of the culture we get to love for the last couple of years. And it's so much easier to communicate a deeper story through images than only by talking. And like I said, once I saw this image, we work a lot in hospitals, and it's so different from the West. There's so much less that can be done, but in West Africa, but the people are so compassionate and are so they come in every day, they take care of the sick, they prepare the food. There's so many unknown things, but despite everything, there's a lot of hope and beauty that this shows also in the hospital. In this case, it's a Christian hospital, but still, in general, there's so much, to say about the situation she's in. But she keeps going on. She will. I know she was there for a long time, like weeks, months, next to the bed.
Wow. Thank you for that intimate explanation. It was quite a shot. I mean, everybody that has come across that image almost could see these factors that you just mentioned about the photo. Thank you so much. That was a very powerful shot. Even we would be moving on to the
You're
next
welcome.
prize winner, as that's the only question we have for you for now. But if anybody has a question, please wait till the Q&A session to ask your questions. So we move to the third prize winner. That will be Joe Gabriel Amuzu. Hello, Joe. Joe, your mic is muted. Could you unmute your mic?
Okay. Yeah, hello. Can you hear me now?
Thank you so much. Yes, I can hear you. How are you?
All right. I'm fine. And you?
I'm all right. Please briefly introduce yourself, starting with your name.
My name is Gabriel Joe Amuzu, and I'm a teacher and a photographer, I would say. Yeah, so that is me. And I also do this kind of freelance work. I'm also an open street mapper. I don't know if you have an OSM. I'm also in there, do my photography stuff, and I also do some mapping with my phone. So that's basically for now what I am and what I do.
Thank you for that brief introduction. We've noticed that you've been doing some documentations under the Wikimedia Ghana user group. Could you please give us a little overview about those documentation, especially those that relate to Wikimedia Commons?
Yeah, this is how it started. I would say I had a passion for photography. So first of all, I bought my camera when I was doing my service in a school. So by then we were in a school and I had one camera before, so I stopped taking pictures for some time. So after some time, I saw my friend with a camera. I told him, I want to buy a camera. And he was like, oh, I will sell it for you. So I organized money and then I took my first camera, which was T3 that I was using before. So I would say the love for the work as a photo taking got me into photography. And then I also got introduced to this common picture taken by a friend who I also met in one of the photography groups. And he said he's in one group that they take picture for, they take picture it for free. So one time we had a chance to visit one festival, Winneba Fancy Dress Festival, where we went with him. So we took some pictures. And then later he came back like he wants to use my pictures. And I asked him what for? And he said, oh, they want to go upload them on Commons. So I was like, Commons? So I was trying to find out from him how the whole thing works. So I gave it to him and it was like, later I was like, the thing you're talking about, the common thing, I want to join. So how do I get to join? And he said, okay, no problem. So it was from there he took me and then we went to the first meeting, which was on the Wikipedia Ghana. So I started taking pictures from there. And then I didn't even know how to even put them on Commons. So I was like, my first time I took the picture, they were like, put them on Commons. I said, what is Commons? So I didn't even know how the whole thing is. So that was when I just give the pictures out and I was taught that, okay, first of all, you have to register your name. So I got the registration done, which was around, let me see the date, September 2017. So that was my first time I got into Commons and I started uploading it. So it was there I started learning. So I was moving from the community. So from one community to the other. And then from there, I started taking pictures and I got to know about the Wiki Loves Africa. And I started contributing. So that one too, we had a photo walk where we all went together, we took pictures, and then we all came back, sat down in the group, and then upload the pictures in group. So it was there, I was like, no, I want to also win this prize. So I've been taking pictures though, but like, I would say none of my pictures even made it out to the local, let's say, the local scene. Do you understand? So I was like, why should I even be taking pictures if, let's say, my pictures are not acknowledged within my settings? So I was like, when it started this year, I was like, oh, it's not even necessary. You're going to put your picture over there. Even your country people will not even the picture is correct, but they will not even put it up there. And then you don't even see anything. So I'm not even going to do it. So this even came as a surprise when my picture was selected because we went for another program, which is from one of the sister organizations within the Wikipedia user group in Ghana. So that was going. So we went there I went there as a photographer, as a team member to take picture for the occasion. So I saw this girl like washing hand. I was like, okay, wow. The way she was washing the hand happily, I was just like, oh, let me take this picture and see. So I took the picture about two of them, the boy and a girl. But coming home, I saw that that of the girl was like dynamic. So let me push it and see the way it goes. I just pushed it up and then I was just there and then I saw the mail. I was like, oh, I won. So I was very happy when my picture made it. So I was like later thanking the jury who within Ghana who selected the pictures. People have done a great job because going through the pictures they selected, you could see that all the pictures were on points and then they were good. So now I've been saying, so sometimes if let's say within the local settings, we don't pay due diligence to take the correct pictures, it will be very difficult for the particular country to be recognized nationwide, though they have very good pictures to showcase to the world as what is going on.
Okay, thank you so much, Joe. I mean, I like how you got to meeting Commons and perhaps you realized is not as common as the word common.
Exactly.
That's, that looks like what got you inquisitive about it. So
Yeah.
thank you for delving in and finding out for yourself. And then you've told us how you got your camera. Joe, how did you learn to take cool photographs like this one here?
With it, I would say it was a practice. I learned photography the street way. I didn't go to any school to learn photography. Sometimes you go to one question, the first pictures you take are all, I would say, excuse me, my language, rubbish. But we don't stop there. You have to come back and then learn and ask, where did I go wrong? So sometimes you take the picture, put it in the group, they tell you, you have a very good picture, but let's say the exposure was too much. So they will teach you, when you're taking picture outside, it's supposed to be around 125, 125 ISO 100 and blah, blah, blah. So it was like, I started learning photo the hard way on the street. So, and normally learning the thing the hard way on the street gives you proper understanding of what they are talking about, because you have practiced it and then you had it wrong and then you have to go back and do it and then you have it right. So it's like, that was when I learned everything. So I just learned everything and then I took the pictures. And then sometimes what I want to say is this, people will say, I don't have a good camera, I cannot take pictures, blah, blah, blah. But the camera I had and the lens I had, sometimes the sharpness was even a problem. But I managed to take this picture and I would say, taking cool pictures is a practical work. You don't just take picture once a while and then relax. You'll be taking pictures on and on and on. So from there, you see which step you should take in your picture taking. And in this picture, actually, I was teaching one lady how to take picture. That was it. And then this picture came out to win a third prize. So I was very happy. I always say I'm even happier than those who have won the first and second prize. So that is how. That's
how happy you are.
Yeah, that's how happy I am. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. And let's say for those watching us now, are there tips that you, Joe, would like to give them about photography or the kind of documentations you do under the Wikimedia Ghana user group? Are there tips you can give them about those?
Yeah, what I have to say is this. Under the Wikimedia Ghana user group, it's like, go and serve. Don't say you want to stay for money, because though you want people to recognize that you are using your camera, you need to be paid. But sometimes if you don't give that selfless service, you're not going to be seen or nobody going to show you anything. So sometimes you take pictures just to get to another level. Hadn't been that I have gotten my camera and I went through these user groups and then people were seeing my work. It's like, oh, come and join our team. I wouldn't have been here talking about all this and then winning this prize. So I would say, when you are doing something, though money is involved, don't think too much about the money. Think about the work first, and whatever it is will pay for you. So I would say, when you are doing something, do it from your heart, freely, and then genuinely, and then correctly. If possible, the quality should also count. So that's what I would say. That's the tip I would give anybody.
Thank you so much, Joe. That reiterates what Khalid mentioned about not putting the money first. Thank you so much. And that will be the last question. And hopefully someone during the Q&A session will have a question for you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, too.
So we will be moving forward to Kevin Rack, the winner of the Traditional Culture Prize. Hello, Kelvin.
Hi, Tess. Titake Kevin. Titake Musenberg Huratli. My name is Kevin. I'm from Musenberg, and thank you guys very, very much for selecting me and having me here on Wiki.
The pleasure is always ours. Thank you for that. I don't know, besides your name and where you come from, is there anything you'd like to add to your introduction?
Yes, certainly. So first of all, I'd just like to acknowledge the First Peoples whose land we are now on, and then also to my African brothers and sisters for allowing me there into the space, considering the history that we have passed. So thank you for that. I'm a trainee in Triga, which is a African traditional medicine from Southern Africa. Also work as a fixer, a driver, a guide, social activist, environmental activists. And at the moment, I'm trained as a mediator and a community peace builder through Mediators Beyond Borders. And I'm now looking at a thing called Afrofuturism.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. Kevin, why did you choose? I mean, the pandemic was everywhere and everybody was going for the modern medicine. But you choose to upload an entry about traditional medicine. Why did you choose that? And when you took the shot, what was going through your mind?
So basically, I'm in the process of trying to deconstruct, decolonize the way I've been thinking. So I've been looking at the basis of a lot of our technology and philosophies. And I found out that most of it's actually come from Africa. So a lot of our ways of thinking, a lot of our science even, and even some of the astrology and things like that came from Africa. So I was started to look back, and then I started looking at traditional medicine, and then I realized that a lot of the Western medicine that we call Western is actually really based on a lot of traditional medicine. So it was a beautiful process in deconstruction and decolonizing how I viewed the world, especially Africa. And this continent is phenomenally beautiful. The most amazing cultures, the most amazing people. So it's just really trying to find my place in this on the continent. And yes, so traditional medicine has a big role to play. A vast majority of us on the continent do actually consult traditional medicine and herbs before we consult what we refer to as Western medicine. That's always the first port of call. And then we would, obviously, if the problems are beyond and require an intervention, then we would look at Western medicine next. The San have been practicing their traditions for probably a lot longer than most other cultures out there singularly, so probably about 300,000 years. So a lot of their practices are very, very deep, very, very healing. And we have a lot to learn from our traditions, and we should never forget our traditions because it's very important. It's the basis of who we are.
Thank you so much, Kevin. I wish I could go on this research with you in trying to decolonize my mind to know, I mean, how all these things in science and technology trace back to Africa. But then moving to the next question we have for you, this is the second prize you have won, documenting the San people of the Southern Africa. Why is this a compelling subject for you? Why do you keep coming back to the Wiki Loves Africa photo contest?
Okay, so with regards to the San, I was living in Australia and I read a science fiction book with regards to how the San people were able to navigate the VR and the Matrix, and so that really piqued my interest in their culture and their belief systems. I'm actually not really what one would call a photographer. I just happen to be able to go into most amazing places and meet really beautiful people. And so, as what Khalid and Joe beautifully explained, a lot of it is captured through the eye and through who you are. You apply your lens and your worldview then onto that bit of light that you're seeing. I used, in fact, so to the other aspiring photographers out there, this images and the images that I've taken came off probably about a 30-year-old camera, with an entry-level camera as well on a very old 25 to 250 mil lens. So for you to take photos, you don't need the most modern equipment. Africa is so full of so many beautiful stories. You can just walk out onto your street and there are amazing stories to be captured. Use your cell phone. You don't need expensive equipment to tell the world who we are and what's there to see about our continent. You just have to have heart. Joe and Khalid were perfect in the way they said, have heart and have faith. And you will see there are so many amazing stories. Just stop a little bit, just be a bit present to the world around you, and you will start seeing images pop up that you can start taking, and use your cell phone. Your cell phone is there. It's about the framing. It's about applying your feelings upon that light that you've just captured. And you don't need very expensive equipment.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I mean, I have taken note of one thing at least. It's about applying feelings, not really about the quality of your lens or your camera. That's a
That's
very powerful one. That's a very powerful
yeah.
one. Thank you so
And I
much,
mean,
Kevin.
the two prize winners before, Khalid and Joe, they captured the essence of this type of work. I'm no photographer, so when I was announced as a prize winner, I basically almost fell off my chair. And I'm really like to thank Wiki. I don't sell the images that I take. What I do is I will donate them to Wiki because I don't own the IP. And I'm not commissioned as a photographer. I'm commissioned as to drive a truck into very remote places for some people. So it's just very fortunate. I'm a very lucky person to live in this continent, of course.
Thank you. Thank you for expressing that sentiment. And then, why do you keep coming back to Wiki Loves Africa photo contest? Why?
As I said, yeah. So I don't sell the images, and I'm not a commissioned photographer. And it's always beautiful. I want to always show people out there how beautiful and how rich this continent is, and how much we really have to offer. We need to change the narrative from where people are seeing us as victims to actually where we claim our space in Afrofuturism, where we start leading the world in how we think. And one of the ways we can do that is by showing people images of what we have to offer and who we are. And Wiki, and I thank you guys so much. You give me the opportunity to what I have managed to see, to be able to put out in a place where it's not being sold and what's and it's that IP that belongs to the continent itself.
Thank you. Once again, the organizers of Wiki Loves Africa are being reminded that they are on the right course of things in terms of providing opportunity for such narratives about Africa to be put out there. Thank you so much, Kevin, for your time. Hopefully, someone will have questions for you during the Q&A session. Let's move forward to the best video prize winner. Salut, Bouba.
Salut, Ceslaused.
Bon, en bref, pourrez-vous vous présenter?
Je suis Bouba Kam, Bouba Kam, réalisateur ivoirien. Voilà.
Thank you, merci. Bouba just said that his name is Abubakar Kamate, and he is a director from Côte d'Ivoire, from Ivory Coast. Bon, merci pour l'introduction. La deuxième question, c'est, vous avez remporté le prix de la meilleure vidéo 2 années consécutives. Les organisatrices ont indiqué qu'au-delà de la qualité, c'était parce que à chaque fois, la vidéo cherchait à raconter une histoire spécifique. Pourquoi vous avez choisi souvent ce format dans les 2 cas?
Oui, je choisis ce format parce que à la base, je suis cinéaste, donc qui dit film dit histoire. Donc, derrière chaque vidéo, j'essaie de faire voyager le téléspectateur avec moi, faire découvrir quelque chose, montrer ce qu'il y a de particulier dans mon pays ou au continent. Donc, c'est un peu comme ça. À chaque fois, je refais les mêmes choses.
Okay. See, Bouba just told us that as a video director, that this is what he knows best to do in terms of his skills. So at each point in time, he has to put the skills that he knows how best to use into good use by making video entries. Merci Bouba. La troisième question, c'est en quoi le fait d'avoir gagné un prix comme ça, l'an derrière, vous a-t-il impacté? Est-ce qu'il y a quelques impacts comme ça en gagnant tel prix de temps en temps?
Oui, gagner le prix Wiki Loves Africa 2 fois de suite, quelque chose auquel je ne m'attendais pas d'abord, parce que j'ai pris énormément de plaisir à participer au concours Wiki Loves Africa. Et j'ai fait ma vidéo. Et à ma grande surprise, j'ai gagné le concours. C'est quelque chose auquel ce n'était pas prévu. Parce que moi, j'étais concentré sur les différents thèmes. Et il y a aussi... C'est déjà une chance pour moi-même de gagner ce concours. Et sincèrement dit, merci à Wiki Loves Africa parce que ça m'a permis aussi d'acquérir du matériel qui me permet de réaliser mon prochain long métrage. Parce qu'en tant que réalisateur, c'est l'équipement de la vidéo, c'est difficile à en avoir. Donc, déjà, ça a impacté mon travail, ça m'a permis d'acquérir du matériel. Voilà, et c'est un peu ce que j'avais à dire.
Merci pour la réponse réelle. So, in answering the question about the impact winning the prizes last year and this year has in his life, he's saying that he has actually made a whole difference. As he, of course, the recognition is there, and then he has been helped to get more of the tools he works with. And as you know, the director thing actually requires some specific tools. And then at each point in time he has won this prize, he's opportune to be able to acquire something for his work. Merci pour la réponse, Bouba. Prochaine question, c'est assez peu de personnes postent des vidéos sur Wikimedia Commons de temps en temps. On télévexe souvent des photos. À votre avis, pourquoi?
À mon avis, je pense que les gens ils ne savent pas qu'ils peuvent poster des vidéos sur la plateforme. Parce que moi, dans mon cas, j'utilise beaucoup Wiki lors de mes recherches. Et c'est en lisant que j'ai su que je pouvais poster la vidéo. Donc, je crois que c'est peut-être l'une des causes qui est à la base du fait que les gens ne postent pas assez de vidéos sur la plateforme.
Merci pour la réponse. He is saying that he thinks that one of the reasons why people don't post videos on Commons is because they don't know how, or maybe they don't even know that they could post videos. Why? Because the loudest when you talk about Commons are basically pictures. People will know that, oh, I can easily post pictures on Commons, but video, no. Ok, Bouba, merci pour la réponse encore une fois. La dernière question, c'est, vous avez fait preuve d'excellentes compétences en vidéographie, dans la vidéo. Qu'est-ce que conseiller à quelqu'un, qu'est-ce que vous pouvez conseiller aux gens qui veulent faire une vidéo d'une telle qualité et un tel impact?
Ce que je peux dire aux gens qui veulent faire de la vidéo, beaucoup se mettent des barrières eux-mêmes en se disant que pour faire une vidéo, il faut avoir la dernière caméra ou bien les derniers équipements. Pour rappel, ma première vidéo qui a gagné le concours Wiki Love en 2020, ça a été tourné à 80% avec mon téléphone portable, mon smartphone. Donc, ce qui veut dire que c'est pas l'appareil, mais c'est la créativité, c'est l'esprit créatif, c'est de bien comprendre le thème, bien décortiquer, chercher les bons décors, bien configurer sa caméra, les réglages basiques, et voilà, faire une bonne vidéo et la présenter. Donc, c'est déjà un point, et c'est aussi l'occasion pour moi de dire aux jeunes qui veulent venir à la vidéo de ne pas se comparer peut-être à des personnes qui sont loin ou des personnes, c'est de toujours faire des vidéos, de toujours continuer à filmer, à participer au concours. Et bon, qui sait, si ta vidéo est choisie, tu peux remporter le prix.
D'accord. In trying to reply to the question about maybe what those who want to make quality video like his could do to achieve that and impact. He said first you must understand the team, and this year's team was health awareness. So you need to understand the theme in order to achieve a good impact with the video. And then you need to make sure that your tool, your camera, has the right settings. Make sure you maybe continue to film, maybe severally, and then perhaps participate in contests frequently, as that could test the quality of your work. Merci Bouba pour les réponses. Peut-être il y aura des questions en fin. S'il y a des questions, on va vous faire savoir. D'accord?
Merci.
De rien. So moving forward to the panel 3, where we have the guys from the special collection prize category. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I forgot we had Buba's video entry to show us what an amazing work he did in trying to represent the theme health and wellness. And I hope you've seen his work and why it's necessary actually for more video entries to come in with, of course, much more impact and creativity. Thank you for that video, Bouba. Merci beaucoup pour la video. So we will be moving on to the guys from the Special Collection Prize category. The coordinator is here with us in the person of Minette Lotsie. Hello, Minette. And then there is Max MBAKOP, who happens to be one of the photographers who shots made up the Special Collection Prize category. Hello, Max. So, Minette, we'll be going with you first. Can you briefly introduce yourself, starting with your name, Minette?
Yes, my name is Minette Lotsie. I am a tech entrepreneur and I am a Wikimedian from Cameroon. I live in Douala. And I'm very proud to have been the coordinator of, the photo activity that enabled us to win the local prize, the best special collection prize at this year's edition of the Wiki Loves Africa contest.
Thank you, Minette. And why people were staying away from hospitals in panic and fear of the pandemic, you guys chose to go close and to go shoot in the hospital. Whose crazy idea was that, and how did you manage to get permission for that?
It was my idea. I was the local lead of the project Nos Jardins. We talked about it in the previous Wiki Hour, and it's an initiative by internet.org and Wiki in Africa. which was organized to train professional and amateur photographers in Cameroon into free licenses and also the open knowledge as a open knowledge culture. So as part of the project, the participants were had to participate in the Wiki Loves Africa contest. So during the contest, I had the idea of going to a public hospital, because when we discussed with the participant, it was one of the top, or let's say, places, like when we say, okay, the topic this year is health and wellness, where can we get pictures about health and wellness? And going to an hospital was one of the top, was top among the suggestions we had from the participants. And so I had the idea. I identified the hospital, which was Lakentini Hospital, one of the biggest, I think it's the biggest public hospital in Douala. So that's how I had the idea. And I wrote a letter to the director of the hospital explaining him about the Wiki Loves Africa contest, what we wanted from the hospital, and that we were interested in having photography of people in the hospital and human experiences, in the hospital. So a few days later, we got a reply from him, and it was a positive reply, hopefully, luckily. So we got there, and I was able to get Happy Raphael, Max MBAKOP, who is here with me, and also Destiny Defo Deluxe, who is the third photographer, and they gladly accepted to make themselves available for the photo walk, and that's how we went to Lakentini and were able to do the photo shoot.
That was bold, and that was quite bureaucratic, if you ask me, because I know how it would have been then, given such, or do I say, unrestricted access to photographers like yourselves to take the shots. And then you worked and coordinated 3 other photographers to achieve the special collection entry. Can you tell us more about how you managed working with 3 different photographers who surely had different ideas and different camera angles?
Yeah, I didn't really have to do a lot. So as you said, there were 3 photographers, and I was lucky there were 3 professional photographers, and I didn't really have to do a lot. I was more into administration. Like, I was just making sure that we had we had somebody from the hospital management accompany us, so that the different doctors or people in charge in the different services of the hospital will not be surprised to see us, or might not be like violent or reluctant with us. So I was really behind. I wasn't impacting their work. They were really doing their job. I think they know best. And the 3 photographers are really from 3 different, type of photography in 3 different fields. We have Max MBAKOP, who is more of a creative photographer, and Happy Raphael is more of he's a professional sport photographer, and he has been very active in all the previous like the past 4 editions of Wiki Loves Africa. So he has been a very active participant over the last 4 years. And we also had Deluxe, Destiny Defo, who is also is a professional photographer too, but he's more into events and corporate photography. So there were really 3 photographers from 3 different fields, and they had different cameras and different lenses. If you see you look at the collection, you will see that some have very long, large lenses. So they were really, everybody was really doing his things from his own, like the way I want to say his own sensibility. Like, it was really like the feeling of how they were seeing the things. So I really didn't impact their creativity when we were in the hospital or in the field.
Thank you so much. And that explains my other curiosity. Maybe if you guys were just let loose in the words to be taking shots, but now that you've mentioned that there was someone from the hospital administration who was accompanying you.
Yes, it wasn't easy, because you would just get into a service like in a hospital room, and the doctor will be doing his job and will be like, "Who are you guys? Why are you shooting?" So sometimes they will be very discreet and take their pictures, but sometimes we really had somebody from the hospital, at least somebody they know, telling that, "Oh no, doctor, don't worry about them. They're just doing a reportage. They're just doing some photos about how is the daily experience in the hospital. It was really important to really have somebody who could tell everybody to like not care about us, so that the photographers could really do their job without interrupting the normal work of the doctors.
Now that you
Yeah.
mentioned how sneaky some of the shots were actually taken, I just wish maybe there was a fourth person who was, filming you guys doing this. It would have been an
Yeah,
awesome.
I
It
had
would
a
have been
few
an awesome.
pictures. I had a few pictures, but I didn't. I had a few pictures of them taking pictures, but I didn't put them on the submit them for the context, because for me it was like out of
Oh,
topic. But I actually had the pictures of them taking the pictures, and we just
okay.
didn't submit them for the context. But we do have pictures of them into action. Yeah, I took some with my phone. Very nice shots too.
Nice, nice, good to know.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, now that you've mentioned that these photographers were professionals from different photography backgrounds, I mean, one could still, like when you go through the shots, one could see the synergy in the photographs. I mean, was Nos Jardins the only unique training you all had? I mean, what was the in-depth like? Because I mean, it looks like you guys were taking shots, like some Siemens, say Siemens twins who had the same brain and all, despite from different camera angles. I mean, tell us more about these skills. The Nos Jardins sort of helped to equip you guys with.
Okay, as part of the training Nos Jardins, in addition to the training in the free licenses and the one about the open culture, we also had a master class in a photography master class where our participants were trained into photography skill, how to take good pictures, and we were more than 15 participants taking part in the master class photography. But before even the training, our participants were already most of them were already skilled. So it was really just to put everybody, like, because we also had non-professionals among us, so we were really like the training actually was really to put everybody at kind of same level, like at least to have the professional knowledge of what professional photography is all about. And then but for the three photographers, that's Max, Appy, and Deluxe, who took part in who won the special collection prize. They were all already skilled photographers. So No Jardin was more of like an exercise for them more than a training, like per se.
Okay,
Mhm.
thanks for making that fact much
Mhm.
more obvious. And then my last question is, who convinced the team to spend almost half a day taking over 100 shots? Because it was fun, like going
Mhm.
through all those shots and then seeing different angles, different types of photos. Whose idea was that?
Oh, like the photo shoot was my idea, but all of the photographers had their own way of getting, like their own sensibility. I want to say that, because if you look at the picture, the way they feel, you can feel like what interested a photographer more than the other. I didn't have to convince them. I remember the day we got the authorization, we only had 3 days before the day we were authorized to come and shoot. I called, and we only had, they only gave a spot for 3 photographers. They didn't want more than three. So when I called them, they were all like, "Oh, great! I've never been into a hospital. I've never done a shot into a hospital. That would be a great experience." And the other one was like, "Okay, great! I'll make myself available." So they were all happy. They were all very happy to be part of it, because as they were dedicated participants for the No Jardin. So it was really, I didn't really have to convince them. They were happy. They were interested in getting in, and we were like, okay, we need the international prize in Cameroon this year. So everybody was like, okay, we really need to get a good shot. But at the end of the day, it wasn't just about photography. It was really a great human experience for the photographers themselves, and for me also, because we were really touched by all the things we saw in the hospital. They were really like images that really, I almost cried. I think we were all touched, when, especially in the neonatology, where we're very close to those premature babies. I mean, it was very intense as an experience. So I think we all enjoyed it. It was really a a great experience, very enriching as human beings, as photographers. So it was really good. But when we got to the COVID, when we got to the isolation, you see where a place where we got into COVID, that it was more difficult. I decided to stay outside. I didn't want to get in, but Max and Appy actually got in, and they were able to take pictures of how people are of the hospital staff working with the COVID patients, all dressed with their anti-COVID dresses. And when we got there, I was really afraid. So I said, guys, okay, you guys go in. I'm staying out. So, and they actually went in. They didn't go very far, but they actually got into a room of a COVID patient, somebody that was on a respiratory machine. So they really did. They were really into it. I didn't have to convince them. Like me myself, I wasn't going to enter to the isolation, but they did. So they really wanted to tell a story of how the hospital works every day. So I'm really proud of the photographers. I'm very happy that their work was acknowledged by the jury. And I'm very happy. That's what I want to say here.
Oof, I can say it's safe to say you guys went to shoot in the Valley of the Shadow of Death. Who goes into isolation ward, during the pandemic? And at that point in time, the pandemic was still on, and Cameroon was having cases on the daily. That was really a bravery thing to like. It was a thing of bravery, if you ask me. Thank you so much, Minette.
Thank you,
hopefully have a question for you during the Q&A session. On passe maintenant à Monsieur Max. Ça va?
Oui, ça va.
Vous pouvez vous introduire, vous pouvez vous présenter dans quelques mots, une phrase ou deux, je sais pas.
Ok, je suis Max MBAKOP, artiste visuel résident au Cameroun.
Merci, c'est vraiment bref. Oui. La deuxième question, c'est pouvez-vous nous présenter brièvement votre parcours concernant l'entraînement de Nos Jardins?
Alors, Nos Jardins, c'était un projet assez intéressant dans la mesure où moi, par exemple, ça m'a redonné l'envie et le désir de partager, en fait. Vous voyez, on est dans un environnement où c'est difficile de travailler, c'est difficile de vivre de son métier. Donc, du coup, ceux qui essayent d'exercer, essayent de capitaliser au maximum ce qu'ils font comme travail. Donc, du coup, c'est difficile d'avoir des personnes qui dépensent de leur argent, genre que ce soit dans le transport, que ce soit dans l'achat du matériel et autres, et qui arrivent à faire des travaux et acceptent justement de les partager de façon gratuite au monde entier. Donc, du coup, c'est vrai que j'avais déjà cet engouement, mais il n'était pas... En fait, à un moment, j'avais été un tout petit peu découragé par cette démarche, mais Nos Jardins a ravivé en fait cela et m'a redonné envie de le faire et d'aller un peu plus que ça en fait. Donc, c'était un tout petit peu ça. Et donc, par la même occasion, je remercie Minette qui comment est-ce que je vais dire ça? Elle a un véritable sens de management qui, à un certain moment, a su motiver plus d'un, moi y compris, à donner un plus, vous voyez un peu, au projet Nos Jardins, parce que j'y ai non seulement participé comme étant participant, mais en tant qu'aussi, comment on appelle ça, moniteur d'un masterclass en photographie qu'avait organisé Nos Jardins. Voilà, formateur, oui, c'est ça. Bon, j'ai dit animateur, bon, ouais. Bon, formateur, voilà, dans Nos Jardins. Et voilà, donc c'était assez intéressant. Voilà, et je peux dire, voilà, c'est un peu ça.
Ok, merci. Max, in trying to tell us about his journey during the Nos Jardins training, he says that the Nos Jardins initiative had taught him or has taught him to, be more of a cheerful giver. Imagine having spent some money to get something and then you eventually end up giving it out totally free. That the initiative sort of opened him, that he of course had been somebody who considered himself a giver naturally, but the initiative opened him up more towards the idea of free giving. And he thanks Minette for, of course, having made sure that he benefited from such an awesome initiative. Max, en allant à la deuxième question, troisième question, je crois. Quelles nouvelles compétences avez-vous acquises grâce à l'initiative Nos Jardins?
Alors, l'initiative Nos Jardins comme je l'ai dit, ça m'a redonné l'envie de partager, de contribuer gratuitement avec les travaux et avec de partager aussi mes connaissances. Mais à côté, pour la petite histoire, nous avions été l'un de la première promotion Wikipédia ici au Cameroun, en fait, ceux qui avaient participé comme apprenants. Et donc, ça faisait très longtemps que voilà, j'avais un tout petit peu mis de côté les projets Wikipédia. Et Nos Jardins m'a redonné envie de me remettre un tout petit peu là-dessus. Donc, c'est vrai qu'on est souvent un tout petit peu occupé par, puisque le contexte nous soumet à certaines pressions. Mais je pense que c'était une très belle initiative, vraiment. Parce que moi, actuellement, j'arrive déjà en fait, grâce à ce que j'ai appris, à mettre des informations sur Wikipédia, à partager, à faire des recherches. En fait, j'arrive aussi à comprendre que c'est pas seulement qu'une plateforme de partage, mais c'est aussi une plateforme où on apprend beaucoup, où on retrouve l'humain, si je peux dire ça comme ça. Parce que avant tout, c'est l'humain, en fait, qui me parle plus. C'est l'humain. Donc, tant qu'il n'y a pas cette partie humaine dans n'importe quel type de projet, même si on va payer n'importe quelle centaine de millions, pour moi, c'est pas intéressant, en fait. Et j'ai pu ressentir justement cette partie humaine via Nos Jardins. Et aussi, j'en profite pour donner, en fait, pas donner, pour dire un merci à Florence, qui, peut-être, j'ai jamais fait part de ça, mais je suis du genre, j'observe un tout petit peu beaucoup. Et elle a été du genre, c'est celle-là qui travaille en sourdine, en fait. Tu ne la vois pas, mais elle bosse, quoi. Tu vois, et c'est une qualité qui, pour moi, est très intéressante pour moi. Donc, ça m'a un tout petit peu enrichi. Donc, tu te rends compte que, bon, voilà, il y a des gens qui ne font pas trop de bruit, mais qui agissent, qui donnent vraiment de leur temps pour la communauté, pour essayer d'améliorer un certain nombre de choses, pour donner un tout petit peu, un plus à certaines choses. Donc, pour moi, j'ai beaucoup appris, en fait, à travers ce projet et j'ai vraiment envie d'aller plus loin. Et je pense que, bon, voilà, je suis assez disposé pour n'importe quoi, pour n'importe quel type de projet à venir. Donc, voilà.
Merci. Merci pour la réponse. Max, in trying to let us know the new skills he had learned through the initiative, he has leaned towards, of course, the humanistic skills, if you ask me. Why? Because some things were actually not so clear to him, especially as it relates to his touch about Wikipedia. And like we know, it's how do I put this? It's a volunteer system. Let me say, despite having some skills that are required in line. So the Nos Jardins initiative had helped him to reconnect with what he used to know and even make or an advancement in the new knowledge concerning Wikipedia. And once again, Minette, thank you really for making this opportunity available to Max. I don't think Max will ever forget you for having him benefit from such an awesome initiative. And Max has reiterated that whatever project that actually come in the future, be it Nos Jardins related, that he is very open to engage. Merci Max, encore une fois pour la réponse. Et la dernière question pour vous, c'est vous avez pris des photos très émouvantes à l'hôpital. Comment équilibrez-vous le regard objectif avec vos émotions et votre humanité?
Alors, cette question... Alors, j'ai tout simplement envie de dire que ça... Déjà, en tant qu'artiste, parce que c'est mon métier à la base, ma démarche, elle est, si je peux dire, à N%. Donc, à N%, elle est humaine, en fait. Donc, j'essaye dans mes travaux d'artiste, de ramener l'humain.
Oh.
Ouais.
Excusez-moi.
Oui, désolé. On a un gros problème d'électricité ici.
Il faut continuer.
Oui, je disais, je suis tout le temps confronté à... Oh là là, désolé.
Pas de souci.
Oui, je disais, je suis tout le temps confronté. Ouais. Excusez-moi, je disais, je suis tout le temps confronté à l'humain au quotidien. Donc, c'est mes activités, en fait, c'est ce qui me motive en premier, l'humain. Donc, me retrouver à l'hôpital ce jour-là était pour moi une, comment est-ce que je vais dire ça, une expérience assez inouïe parce que c'était la première fois pour moi de me trouver en face justement de me trouver en face des enfants de cet âge et ça m'a permis à un moment de me retrouver. Allô? Vous m'entendez?
Oui. On vous écoute, oui, continuez.
Ah oui. Donc, ça m'a permis de me retrouver face justement à... Putain. Ouais. Excusez-moi, je me débarrasse un tout petit peu. Voilà. Désolé, pardon. J'ai un enfant qui dérange beaucoup. Je disais... Voilà. Okay. Je disais, je me suis retrouvé directement face à ça. Et puis, ça m'a permis à un moment de me poser beaucoup de questions. Donc, en même temps, cette chaleur humaine avec ces enfants a permis de diriger aussi mon regard parce que je recherchais un tout petit peu le contact. Je recherchais une certaine réalité. Je recherchais un certain rapport à la vie. Donc, l'interaction que nous, par exemple, adultes, on peut avoir face justement à ces êtres aussi fragiles. Dans un moment, je me suis senti tellement ému. C'était aussi intense. Je suis sorti de là, j'étais très content et ce sont comment est-ce que je vais dire ça, des expériences comme ça que j'ai envie de renouveler, que j'ai envie de revivre chaque fois au quotidien. Donc, pour moi, ça a été l'un des meilleurs moments pour moi dans cette aventure Nos Jardins qui m'a marqué et m'a vraiment marqué de façon définitive. Donc, à chaque fois, même là tout à l'heure, quand j'étais en train de regarder ces photos, je me suis demandé, voilà, est-ce que c'est nous-mêmes qui l'avions fait ou pas? Donc, du coup, c'est assez fort, c'est très fort. Donc, moi, justement, c'est ça, en fait, que je recherche à chaque fois que je fais de la photo. Donc, voyager, me retrouver en face des gens, me retrouver en face des peuples, me retrouver en face des cultures. Pour moi, c'est ça qui qui me cultive, c'est ça qui me rappelle aussi à un certain moment que je suis un être humain et que voilà, je dois faire des efforts pour essayer de restituer, entre guillemets, cette belle énergie qui tourne autour de nous, mais qui malheureusement, on n'arrive pas à voir ou bien à percevoir au quotidien, juste parce que, bon, voilà, on est trop pris par le travail, on est trop pris par le système, par tout ce qui tourne autour, quoi, voilà. C'est un peu ça, en gros.
Okay. Merci beaucoup pour la réponse. In trying to answer question about how he balances the objective gaze with his emotions and humanity, Max just explained that why he is a professional photographer, that he actually enjoys the experience. For instance, finding himself in such a hospital and in different wards with let's say underage kids in incubator, that sort of woke something up in him, a sort of understanding and rapport he has been looking for over time about life. And he maintains balance in terms of making sure that the shot remains as professional as possible, amongst other things. And his daily experience has sort of modeled how he handles his situations, be it professional or his daily life. I hope that captured enough of his response. And then, Max, c'était la dernière question là. Merci pour votre temps. Merci d'avoir bien donné des réponses. On passe.
Merci aussi à toi. Merci beaucoup.
De rien. Thank you, guys. Max was our last guest who asking questions. Moving forward to the Q&A session. If anybody has any question for our guests, from the international jury members down to Max, please feel free to ask, and we will make sure your questions get asked, and we would have the guests give their responses and answers. Okay, Sifo Farco is asking, okay, I think this is for the Nojelan guys. How did they get consent? Was it an issue, Minette?
Yes. Was it an issue? Yes. Thank you for the question. Oh no, it wasn't. It wasn't an issue because I think I was prepared. I didn't just go there and first, my mom. I'm lucky that my mom is a nurse in the hospital, so she kind of prepared me. She said, okay. She told me some people I could see before getting to the director, so that it wouldn't spend times in let's say in administrative procedures. So I was kind of prepared to meet like reluctancy from the hospital management. So I really took my time to prepare a case for the pictures. We are in Cameroon. Public hospitals are very reluctant to the media, to the cameras, because we've had cases where people came with cameras and he ended up creating scandals. So I was really prepared, and I actually defended our case. So I made a good letter with tons of documents of who are the photographers we may bring in, and that the aim of the project is not like to give a bad image of the hospital or show like the negative, because sometimes they think the media are only coming for news or anything any scandal. So we really explain to them so that we are really interested into showcasing what the medical personnel actually does, not just making news. So I got to that level where I got to meet somebody from the management, and explain to her. We actually had a discussion, and so when she went to the director of the hospital, she already had the arguments to tell the director that no, you can trust them. They're not just journalists or people looking for something to share on social media. They're really doing something that's educative and informative. So So it wasn't really difficult because I knew it would be difficult. So I really prepared I didn't just drop the application. So I really prepared the let's say the dossier, the file, so that we could get the authorization. So yeah, it wasn't very difficult because we were prepared to it.
Okay, I guess preparing in advance helped you to know how to navigate through the challenges. Thank you for the response, Sifo. I hope that answers your question. If there is another question, we would also take as okay. It's kind of saying as a photographer, what challenges do you experience? I think Khalid could give us a deeper insight on this. Khalid. Oh, okay. In the absence of Khalid, um, how about we hear from Kevin? Could you please answer the question? As a photographer, what challenges do you experience?
Okay, so yeah, first of all, probably not a photographer, but as a hobbyist photographer. In South Africa, we have a very problematic with having camera equipment out in the open. We have a lot of very poor, hungry people. So having a lot of expensive camera equipment can be a problem. You can't really film in remote locations, so you have to be very careful. This is the joy of moving to places like Botswana, Namibia, where you have that safety. So that's the first thing, local. The other issue probably is around consent. And I find that very problematic for myself, because I find people who own their own IP, and when you come along taking a photograph, that can be an issue. And then probably equipment as well, having the money to compete with people that have the latest equipment and the latest, especially glass. So one of the main things I've learned recently is your lenses are very, very important to capture that crisp and clear quality. But yeah, so those are just a couple of the local problems that you have, because people see a camera bag and they just, so I've actually got a really old, it looks like a picnic bag. So people don't bother me as much with regards to that kind of thing. So that's the only one I can think of.
Okay, thank you for that. Joe, can you add one? I mean, from your street photography experience, what are the challenges?
From my side, some of this, it's like the challenge is this: people really don't want to see you holding a big camera, as Kelvin said.
Okay.
They see you with a camera, it's like, what are you going to use the camera for? Are you from the asking which media are you? It's like just like the way journalists are been tagged to be taking bad information to, let's say, to the social media and things like that. So anytime they see you with a camera, then they start to even worry. Sometimes I remember we had a road trip and then we went to the Burkina Faso border, Kulungugu border, and we have interaction with the military people on duty, and said it was like you cannot cross. And even you, the one with you are with camera. When they even get there to the border, they even kill before they kill any other person, because it's like you having a camera. It's just like you are more than, let's say, a terrorist. You know that you can do seriously dangerous thing with a camera. So it's like you having a camera in Africa or on a street create another what? Yes, another. I don't know how to even put it. Another like a whole scene. What they've forgotten that the phones we use are very powerful and even do more dangerous harm than the cameras that we use. Because with the camera, everybody's seeing you, so it's like you are very conscious of what you take. But people see with the camera and they're like, they are very much furious. Sometimes you want to take a nice picture, people see with camera and then they are paused. They won't even do it again. But with the phone like this, oh, they are okay. They will maybe give you a nice, but unless those who understand, oh, that okay, you want to take a picture, go ahead and take a picture. That is fine. So from my side, it's not that easy, but it's easy though, depending on the kind of people you meet on the street. Yes, if they have more insight into photography and camera, fine. They are afraid of a camera, then you don't even have to take the camera there. So from my side, that is the way.
Okay.
It
Thank
depends
you
on
for
who
that.
it is. Yeah.
Et Max, si c'est possible de donner un mot ou deux concernant la question. Autant que photographe, quels sont les défis que...
Oui, oui.
Ok. Vous m'entendez? Allô,
Oui,
Max, vous êtes
j'entends.
là? Ok. Autant que photographe, quels sont les défis que vous expérimentez?
Alors, je vais beaucoup parler de mon contexte, où surtout pour les travaux que je fais, justement, puisque ça touche beaucoup plus les humains. Les photographier, c'est un tout petit peu difficile parce que ici, les gens sont très réfractaires à tout ce qui est photo. Vous voyez un peu, les gens sont un tout petit peu réfractaires. Donc, du coup, prendre quelqu'un en photo ou bien être dans l'action, c'est difficile. C'est difficile. Et à côté, il n'y a pas cette culture où on doit respecter le photographe parce que le photographe est une personne qui a un tout petit peu raté sa vie, quoi. Donc, il ne sait pas ce qu'il fait. Et voilà, ça donne des trucs un tout petit peu difficiles. Donc, du coup, moi, pour essayer de pallier à ça, j'essaye, ça va faire, je crois, 7 ans aujourd'hui que j'ai commencé à former des photographes, des jeunes photographes, à être vraiment professionnels et à prendre leur métier au sérieux. Parce que c'est un métier vraiment noble quand on comprend et qu'on sait exactement de quoi, est-ce qu'il s'agit. Donc, du coup, ouais. Excusez-moi, le petit est encore revenu. Donc, je disais, du coup, ça devient délicat dans la mesure où tu as envie de pousser la chose un tout petit peu plus loin pour essayer de sensibiliser aussi les gens par rapport à tout cela. Donc, le métier de photographie dans mon environnement, c'est bien parce qu'en même temps, ça te donne un challenge. Ça t'amène à réfléchir, genre, à trouver des solutions pour pouvoir travailler comme il le faut. Parce que si tu ne te bouges pas, rien ne bouge pour toi, en fait. Parce que on ne reconnaît pas le statut d'un photographe ou bien du photographe au Cameroun. C'est pas vraiment ça. Donc, du coup, c'est un peu comme la guerre, quoi. On se bat pour essayer d'exister. Voilà. Donc, du coup, c'est un peu ça. Mais sinon, voilà. En gros, c'est ça, quoi. On se bat au quotidien pour essayer de s'en sortir, mais c'est intéressant, c'est une aventure assez excitante parce que quand tu sais ce que tu viens faire dans la photographie, ça t'amène à aller un peu plus loin. Donc, c'est un peu ça.
Okay, merci, Max. Max was just trying to answer the question about the challenges on how in Cameroon, speaking from his own personal experience, that photographers are not so welcome. But then, in summary, he mentioned that if you actually know what you set out to achieve, that you would actually go far and possibly beyond the challenges. Just to save us time, that was just a summary. And then the next question is for Bouba. Bouba, il y a une question pour toi. Et qu'est-ce que vous avez encouragé à devenir un réalisateur?
Ce qui m'a encouragé à devenir réalisateur, c'est que j'ai toujours été passionné de vidéos. Depuis mon enfance, je regardais des films avec ma mère à la maison. Et petit à petit, je me posais des questions. Comment les gens ils arrivaient à faire des films? Comment ils arrivaient à faire des effets? Et c'est comme ça que j'avais une petite caméra à l'époque. Donc, j'ai commencé par filmer mes frères et sœurs, à les transformer en acteurs. Parfois, c'était pas facile, ils ne voulaient pas, mais je les imposais, tu vois. J'essaie de donner des petits bonbons. Amène-toi ici, on va faire une interview. Bon. Et après,
Ah
sur
ouais.
mes potes au lycée, petit à petit, ça commençait à prendre de l'ampleur. Et je prenais énormément de plaisir dedans. Bon, puisque c'est ma passion, je me suis dit pourquoi ne pas en faire un métier. Donc aujourd'hui, j'ai eu la chance de travailler sur des projets un peu partout. Voilà, quoi. C'est pour ça que je suis devenu réalisateur.
Okay. In answering the question about why, how, or what inspired him to become a director, video director, Bouba answers that he was quite an inquisitive child. That during the periods he sat with his mom to see one or two movies, that he always wondered about how these guys were able to put all these things together, the scenes and all that. And he was opportune to have a camera, and then he used his brothers and sisters as experiments on how to shoot. So whoever asks the question, if you have brothers and sisters, please use them, as they would be your first masterpiece eventually. So that helped him as he kept practicing with his siblings, even though they didn't want it at some time, but they didn't have an option. They were stuck with him. So in essence, I would like to think that Bouba meant to say that practice makes perfect. Merci pour la réponse, Bouba. Et I hope whoever asks the question that you are inspired to at least get a camera and start practicing immediately. Thank you guys for the Q&A session. I hope all the questions have been well addressed. On today's news updates, I have with me Candy Kohiwe on the announcements. Please be aware that you can view all the news items and access links in the newsroom section of the WikiAfrica Hour meta page. First, the Wikipedia Pages Wanting Photos campaign 2021 is closed. It closed on 31st of August 2021. The final results will be announced on 1st October. And the international team, they need help with the clean language can speak. Interested in joining the international jury for the Wikipedia Pages Wanting Photos 2021, please email Isaac or Latunde. Candy?
Thank you, Ceslaused. Wiki Loves Monuments 2021 has and is running for the entire month of September and October 2021. So they'll be excited for you to participate. So follow us on our WikiAfrica meta page newsroom to get more details. Ceslaused?
And then the Wiki Endeavor 2021 co-organizing team has announced the call for session submissions for this year's conference themed Rethink and Reset Visions of the Future. Please submit before 24th September 2021. And please know it's going to be a virtual conference holding from 5th to 7th of November 2021. Can
Awesome. There is an opening for community facilitators for the movement strategy and governance. Fluent people who know Hindi, Bengali, Russian, Chinese, Japanese, Portuguese. Check our meta page, the Wiki in Africa newsroom, for more details. Yeah.
And then the Universal Code of Conduct Phase 2 Drafting Committee would like comments about the enforcement draft guidelines for the Universal Code of Conduct. Conversation hours and roundtable calls are to be held on 7th and 18th of September. You can find details on how to attend in our newsroom on the WikiAfrica Hour meta page.
Thank you, Ceslaused. So we are happy to announce that Hughes Medine from Turkey, from Wikimedia Tunisia, has been appointed as a member from for the Wikimedia Foundation Affiliations Committee. And also those who were also appointed is Wojciech Pedish from Poland and Lina Poletuv from Russia. And we also have Meditana from, I'm pretty sure I'm not saying the words right, but I hope the representative from Iran. We celebrate them being nominated for the Wikimedia Foundation Affiliations Committee. Yeah.
Thank you, Candy. The Wikimedia Foundation language team would like volunteers to test this dynamic translation tool and give them feedback. Please, the sooner you do this, the better, so that the Wikimedia language team can enable the tool. You would find the link to the tool and the feedback form on our WikiAfrica Hour meta page. Candy.
All right. So the Open Science Lab in Germany is looking to fill a DevOps opportunity. So anyone who's interested, please visit our meta page to get more details. Over to you, Ceslaused.
The Wikimedia Steering Committee and the Wikimedia Co-Organizing Team 2021 are inviting those who attended the virtual Wikimedia conference to fill the post-event survey. Please check our meta page to access the survey till 5th of September 2021. Candy?
Thank you. The Wikimedia Algeria user group will be hosting the first online Wiki Arabia conference from the 15th to the 17th October 2021. You can submit your sessions till September 15th. For more details, definitely visit our meta page. Yep.
And the Wiki Endeavor 2021 co-organizing team is looking for volunteers to work with. Please apply until 7 September 2021. Link on how to apply is on our WikiAfrica Hour meta page, the newsroom. Thank you.
Right. Wikimedia is participating in the winter edition of this year's outreach and a 3-month paid remote internship for free and open source software course, which is called FORCE, coding and non-coding projects with experienced mentors. If you would like to share an idea for a project that you'd like you to get mentored with, or you're not familiar with the program, we want to give you the opportunity to be a part of this initiative. Hence, if you'd like to get more details, visit our page and then get more details from there. This project to submit your projects, it will be up until September 30th, 2021. Yeah.
Thank you. And the call for proposals for conference and event funds has opened on 1st September 2021 and will close on 27th September 2021. Underrepresented communities are encouraged to apply. Please check the newsroom on our WikiAfrica Hour meta page for the link.
All right. Finally, Wiki in Africa team announces that they will be running the hashtag #SheSaid campaign. So what we would like to have is for people to add notable quotes about women on WikiQuote starting October. And if you'd like to join, kindly contact me or Florence for more details. And you can also visit our SheSaid link, which you'll find on the newsroom. Thank you.
Thank you, guys, and what an amazing session it has been with the Wiki Loves Africa 2021 winners and our 2 awesome representatives from the international jury. It was quite fun having them talk about their world of lens, shots, angles, memories, emotions, and documentaries. On behalf of the Wiki in Africa team, we thank everyone who tuned in. We thank Andrew Lee and his Wikipedia Weekly team for the StreamYard platform they've always made available to us. We thank you, Ewien, Nimal, Khalid, Nicky, Wilfredor, Kevin, Bouba, Minette, and Max for honoring our invitation. And thank you to all the attendees for making our time to be here. Candy and I, Ceslaused, wish you a happy weekend and see you next time.
Bye.
This episode of WikiAfrica Hour was hosted by Ceslaused. You want to discuss and join us next month on the same channels. Subscribe to the Wiki in Africa YouTube channel.